Hello, my name is Hyunwoo, and today I'll be showing you how to use Tkinter. In the previous video, we learned how to use a turtle in depth, but the problem with using a turtle to draw is that even at top speed, the turtle is too slow. This isn't a problem with the turtle, however, it's a problem with computer graphics. In order to create an application, instead of using the turtle to draw, we use a library called Tkinter. In this video, we'll be using this library to create basic buttons and basic shapes. To get started, first import the library Tkinter. Similarly to the turtle, we first need to import the library before any of its functions start working. The next step is to create a variable containing the object of the class tk. We can do this by typing in lowercase tk equals tk parentheses with a capital T. This is similar to creating a pen for the turtle. Now that we got Tkinter set up, we can start by creating a basic button. First, make a variable that is equal to button k text equals click me, then type btn.pack. This will create a basic button that reads click me. As of now, this button does not activate anything. Then finally, if you're using a relatively newer version of Python, like Python 3.9.6, type in tk.mainloop at the end. Mainloop tells Python to run Tkinter event loop. This method listens for events such as button clicks or key presses and blocks any code that comes after it from running until the window it's called on is closed. After we click run, we will get a small pop-up window, a button saying click me. However, this button doesn't actually do anything yet. In order to print text when clicking the button, we can add the following code. First, we can make a method right after the import. So let's say define hello, and we can say print hello there. We can modify line 5 here by saying command equals hello. Now when we run it, when the button is clicked, it will print hello there in the terminal. Buttons are nice tools, but they're not as useful if we want to draw something on the screen. To draw something, we need to use a canvas object. This is an object of the class canvas, which is provided by the Tkinter module. When creating a canvas, we pass the width and the height in pixels of the canvas to Python. Otherwise, the code is similar to the button code. So we can start by deleting lines 2 and 6, and we can type in instead canvas equals canvas parentheses tk comma width equals, and then whatever your width is. In this case I will use 500, and the height 500. You also need to pack the canvas, so canvas.pack, and this create a new canvas. As you can see, this is a canvas. It's blank so far, but we will add shapes later. It doesn't have a button, but it is very similar to the button code. To draw a line on the canvas, we use pixel coordinates. Coordinates determine the position of pixels on a surface. In a Tkinter canvas, coordinates describe how far across the canvas from left to right and how far down the canvas from top to bottom place the pixel. For example, since our canvas is 500 pixels wide by 500 pixels high, the coordinates of the bottom right corner of the screen are 500, 500. To draw a line from the top left corner to the bottom right corner, we need to use the coordinates starting from 0, 0 and ending in 500, 500. So to create this line, we can add after line 4, canvas dot create line from 0, 0 to 500, 500. When we run this code, as you can see, the previously empty canvas, we created a line from the top left corner to the bottom right corner. In order to create a rectangle, we can modify line 5 to say create rectangle. And the coordinates of the corners, so we can use 10, 10, 50, 50. And this will create a square on the top left corner of our screen. In order to fill this rectangle with a color, we can add at the end of the 50, fill equals, and then any color that you want, for example green. This will add a green color inside the rectangle. Other examples of colors you can use by just typing in the word include green, red, blue, orange, yellow, pink, purple, violet, magenta, and cyan. Instead of typing out the word, we can also use hexadecimals in order to fill in our rectangles. So for example, if we do fill equals hashtag FFD800, this will create a more yellow color on the screen. In order to find the hexadecimal, you can just look up online what color you want and maybe go to a color picker in order to choose this color. Another shape we can draw besides the rectangle and the line is an arc. An arc is a segment of the circumference of a circle or another curve. But in order to draw one on Tkinter, to draw it inside a rectangle using the create arc function. An example of this code can be create underscore arc, and we can maybe change this to 200 by 100 and get rid of the fill function. Then we can type in extent equals 180, as in 180 degrees. Style equals capital RC. And when we run this code, we will get half of an oval. In order to create a full oval, we need to change this number to be 360 degrees. However, Tkinter will think that 360 degrees is equivalent to 0 degrees. In other words, it will not draw anything at all. So in order to create as full of an oval as we can change this to 1 less degree, 359 degrees. Another thing to note is that the arc starts always from the right, and the extend is always counterclockwise. We can also draw polygons. A polygon is any shape with 3 or more sides. They are regularly shaped like polygons like triangles, squares, rectangles, pentagons, and hexagons, and so on, as well as irregular ones with uneven edges and more sides, and very odd shapes. When drawing polygons with Tkinter, you need to provide coordinates for each of the coordinates of the polygon. So to start creating a polygon, we can rename line 5 to be create polygon with each of the coordinates. For example, if we want to make a triangle, we can say 10, 10, 100, 10, 100, 110. And the rest of the code on line 5 can be deleted since that was for arcs. And this will create a black triangle on the screen. In order to make this triangle empty, or without color, we can add on to line 5, fill equals blank, outline, equals any color that you want. Let's use black. And this will create an empty triangle on the screen. In addition to shapes, you can also create text. You can start by saying create text, the coordinates of the text. So we can say 150, 100, and then the message itself. So text equals, and then any string that you want. So maybe testing could work. And when we run the code, we get the message testing on the canvas. We can also change the font of the text by adding in on line 5, comma font equals parentheses, the name of the font. So if we use something like Times New Roman, so Times, comma, and then the font size. We can say maybe 15. And this will create a bigger font with Times New Roman. You can also change the color of the text by saying comma fill equals red. And this will fill the text with red. You can also create basic animations using this library. So first we need to create our object. So you can maybe say canvas.create polygon and the coordinates of each point. So we can say 10, 10, 10, 60, 50, 35, which will create a simple arrow. And to create the animation, we can do range for x in range 0 to 60. We can say to move the canvas, so canvas.move 1, 5, 5. We can say tk.update, so it updates the canvas. And we can say time.sleep 0.05, so it'll delay the animation by this amount. And lastly, we need to import time, so import time. Now that we run it, we get that the arrow is moving. As for the explanation, the 1 in the canvas.move is the object with the ID. In this case, it's the identifier for the triangle. It moves it 5 pixels across and 5 pixels down. Instead of an animation, if you want to make this triangle update with your key presses, you can also use the key press functions. So we can remove this part and say we can define a move triangle function. So define move triangle with event as one of the parameters. We can check for each condition depending on which key is pressed. So we're going to need 4 if statements. If event dot key sym is equals up, then we want to canvas.move 1, 0, -3. Otherwise, so elif event dot tsym is equals down. Want to move the canvas move 1, 0, 3 elif event dot tsym equals left canvas dot move 1, -3, 0 elif event dot key sym is equals. else canvas.move 1, 3, 0. And the reason why we can use an else statement instead of an elif is because since if none of these keys are being pressed, that means the last key or the right key must be being pressed. So we do not need to check for an if condition. After this, we can type canvas.findAll key press down, key press up first, triangle, and we can do this for all of the 4 keys, so we can copy and paste this 4 times. Press down, key press left, and key press right. And we make sure all of them are capitalized, so capital left. And once we run this, we can move the arrows depending on our key presses. And finally, you can also import images from your computer to this program. With Tkinter, you can only load GIF images, that is, files with the extension .gif. You can also display other types of images like PNGs and JPEGs, but you will need to use a different module, such as the Python imaging library. We won't get into that. You can start by saying my image is equal to photo image file is equal to, and inside these marks, you need to get your file location. If it's on your desktop, it should look something similar to this. In your C drive, you go to your users, then your current username, onto the desktop, and the name of your file .gif. Then finally, if you say canvas.createImage 0, 0 anchor, so it won't move, equals NW, image equals my image, you will be able to create your own image. Now that you learned how to create basic buttons, create uses for the buttons, empty canvases, basic shapes, custom shapes using polygons, create basic animations using canvas.move, using key presses to move objects, and using files from your own computer for your own projects, you have learned the basics of Tkinter.